And for the ground exercises, they are its own form of closing for the Rejuvenation Series. There are 6 parts to the ground exercises. I'm going to go over the first 2 parts. So we open the same way. Inhaling as the arms sweep out to the sides, gathering above the head, looking up about 60 degrees. Exhaling, guiding the hands back down to the level of the breastbone. Taking a moment to inhale. Fingertips are pointing down. Exhaling down to the lower dantian. Taking another moment to inhale. And releasing as we exhale. Okay, so I'm going to go over this first element in a couple parts. So as I mentioned before, the ground exercises, which is the eighth exercise series within the Rejuvenation Series, has 6 parts. The first part is a shoulder hip slide. So I'm going to be doing it on the floor. I'm going to be switching the iPad in a moment, but it might be easier in some ways to see it against the door. So you're going to be lying on the floor. So this is also an excellent chance for you to look around your area to see where you want to lay down. You can be lying on the floor, and you're going to try and melt the body into the floor so it's nice and relaxed and heavy. And then you're going to start with the left side, lifting the, and that's kind of a misnomer, not lifting exactly, but sliding. Sliding the left shoulder and left hip at the same time up towards the ear. So we're not bringing anything up off of the ground. It's all the arm and then the leg is going to slide along the floor as the shoulder and the hip come up towards the left ear. Okay? And then we're going to bring that back down and then work on the other side. So the right shoulder and right hip are going to slide up towards the right ear while allowing the limbs to hang heavy against the floor. And then there's breathing along with that, but we'll get to that in a moment. So we have this handy tripod. That's my husband's. And please forgive the fact that this is a semi-low-tech setup studio. So we're really going to try not to drop the iPad. Okay, I think that's in. And then we tilt. Oh, I think it's going to work. I think it's going to work. So we've done our opening, right? We've done our opening. You can't see me really, but our opening that we do for all of our exercises. And then we're immediately going to come to a happy spot on the floor. Let me try and make it so that you can see me. And you're simply going to lay down the angle like this. I think that's what I decided to do. You're going to lay down. You can definitely use a mat if you like, or some type of cushioning. Once again, this is not a push through the pain type of series or practice. But take a moment to just allow the body to melt into the earth. Now, theoretically, you want your legs to be like the feet pointing up and the knees pointing up and the legs pointing up, right, in a parallel fashion, theoretically. My hips flop out, so my whole legs just flop out. So in some of these exercises, that's a little okay. I'm trying to get my legs to come parallel for the most part, but I'm not trying to force anything. So if that causes joint issues, or if you're struggling too much, just work with what your limbs want to do. So the feet can be apart a little bit. That's going to make this a little easier. So about inner hip width, and the palms are face down upon the earth. And then what we're going to do is take that left shoulder and left hip, and on an inhale, we're going to slide them along the floor. So I'm trying to mirror you. So I'm using the one that's furthest away from you. So we'll see in a moment, closer to the screen. So we're inhaling, sliding the left hip and shoulder up towards the left ear, and then exhaling as we bring it back to neutral. And then on the right side, inhaling as we slide along the ground, along the floor, that right shoulder and right hip, exhaling back to neutral. So once again, we're not like, don't bring things up or bend or put yourself off of the ground. You want that connection with the ground. Inhaling the left side up, exhaling back down. Inhaling the right side, exhaling back down. Inhaling. Now these movements may be very, very subtle, and that's okay. Remembering this is all about breath and mind intent. The physicality of the exercise, though important, not as important as those two elements. So we do that 4 times on each side, alternating, first left and then right. After we do that 4 times on each side, we're going to bring the legs up, bringing the feet up off the ground. If you have this like hole underneath your low back, go ahead and try and flatten it. And then placing the palms loosely just below the knees. So if here are my knees, right below. Here's a knee. Knee right below. We're not grasping below the knees. We're not using our arms to help us with this. It's just a light laying of the hands upon just below the knee. Now we're going to do our crunches. And these crunches are not crunches you do at the gym. Okay? They're actually the opposite. So on an inhale, we're going to raise our shoulders up towards our knees. And then on an exhale, we can slowly lower once more. We do this 4 times, inhaling and exhaling. Try to keep your head and neck in a neutral posture. So as I'm inhaling and coming up, I'm not turning my head towards my knees. I'm keeping it fairly neutral. And exhaling. And you're going nice and slow. Okay, and once we've done 4 times, we'll move on to the next part of the exercise. We're not going to do that today. So let's very briefly go over those 2 elements first. We've done our opening, then we've come down to the floor. Giving yourselves a moment to melt into the earth. Tip of the tongue is still touching the roof of the mouth. And then using the breath, On an inhale, we're going to slide that left shoulder and left hip along the ground towards the left ear. And then exhaling back into a neutral position. Inhaling with the right. Exhaling back to neutral position. Once again, not moving so much that you're putting yourself into pain. Trying to keep the other side relaxed. And once you've finished 4 times on each side, bringing knees up, feet up. Now I find it's a little kinder to the low back to have this transition in between, bringing the feet to the floor and then bringing the knees up, lightly grasping just below the knees. And then on an inhale, lifting the shoulders up off the ground to wherever it's comfortable for you. Really gathering in the breath into the lower dantian. And then exhaling, melting back down. Inhaling. Gathering the breath and the chi into the lower dantian. Exhaling. In. And out. One more time, I think, to make 4. And then for today, simply bring the legs out in front, placing the palms at the lower dantian, closing the eyes. Inhaling and exhaling at your own pace. As you inhale, guiding and gathering all that wonderful chi that you've been cultivating over the past 45 minutes into the lower dantian, filling it up with energy. Exhaling, allowing that energy to settle and store so it is there for you for the rest of your day. And then when you're ready, we're going to transition into the seasonal exercises. So turning onto one side, whichever side you want. It's not necessary. It's not one side or the other. It's whichever one you want. You're going to turn onto one side. Gradually sit back on up.